Welcome back to Stadia Source, your number one source for Stadia news and reviews. My name is Avery, and this is the Stadia Source Roundtable Podcast, episode 55.
Magical number.
Scarlett's showing us the numbers right there. We have got a great show for you tonight, so let's get to it. With me tonight on the panel, we've got the one, the only, the Dominator. It's Mr. Dom.
Good evening. Hope everyone's all right.
Good to have you. Good to have you. And of course, everybody's favorite queen of stream. It's Scarlet Stream.
Hiya, scurry squirrels.
Oh, that's cute.
It's adorable.
I got scratched by a very friendly squirrel in Boston Commons that was not afraid of humans. And I shouldn't have done that. Because
it wasn't very friendly if he scratched you.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
I got murdered by a very friendly murderer.
My very friendly neighbor.
Yeah, my very friendly hello neighbor murdered me this week. Well, you may know our guest as the best guest for Best Buy gaming news and reviews in the Great White North. It's Mr. Jon Scarr.
Hey, how you doing, eh?
We're good to have you. And tell us what's your booth. Yeah, it's good to have you, Jon. We're so glad. We've been trying to get Jon on the podcast for like 9 months. Like as long as I've been on the podcast, he was the first person that messaged like, "Hey, you want to be on the podcast?" Time it works out. You give it time, it works out. Well, before we get started, did you know you can get our actual podcast as an actual podcast? Subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Also, if you're watching us live, we want you to be a part of the conversation. Hit that super chat or super sticker button, and we'll definitely bring you up. Otherwise, we'll probably bring you up because we love our chats, and we'll say hi. But make sure you say hi in the chat. And last but not least, you can join Stadia right here, Stadia Source. Right, you can join Stadia if you go to stadia.google.com. But you can join Stadia Source right here on YouTube, such as Stadia Vet Gaming, who became a member and might be
Crystal member, no less.
Crystal member.
Crystal Maximo member.
Fancy.
Right here. It doesn't even tell me here what membership level, so I was not as hyped as I should have been for that. Hype level is up, and he might be showing up on the podcast here in the next couple weeks, so keep an eye out for that. And all you have to do if you want us to celebrate you with Crystal Tier Maximum status is just hit that join button down below with awesome perks at every level of your budget. And I'm trying to click things, and I can't figure out how. There we go. All right. So, Jon, if people are not familiar with you, they haven't had a chance to see on Twitter or read the amazing content at the Best Buy Canada gaming blog, tell everybody a little bit about you, your history with gaming, and how you kind of fell in love with Stadia.
Well, I've been gaming ever since I was a young little boy. At the age of 7, my dad got me a Commodore 64. And ever since then, I've just been... we'd go over to my friend's house and we'd just spend hours on hours upon end and sleepovers every weekend and just playing games all the time. And just from there, it went to the NES, the Master System, pretty much every console that you can think of, even the obscure ones that I've either owned or had friends that had access to. And we gamed all the time. And so I've just had a love for gaming ever since I was at a young age. And, every week we'd go and get the magazines from the store, EGM and Game Pro, Next Gen, all that. So we couldn't get enough. And it was just, this passion. And, I had a couple of kids and kind of got away for gaming there for a little bit, as you get busy with the little ones there, but then came back into gaming. And then I decided to open up my own blog. So I opened up my blog and, then I got an invite to volunteer to be on the Best Buy Canada blog to help with reviews and such. And, 3 or 4 years later, now I'm the gaming editor at Best Buy Canada. So it's games 24/7 here around the house. My whole family, they love games. I've even named our son is named after Mario. We love Mario so much. I named my son after Mario. My wife let me our first child. So my wife let me. She's okay.
Firstborn.
You could name him. So, but yeah, it's just gaming everywhere. Just a deep passion for it and a love for all things gaming.
Very cool. And how'd you get into Stadia?
Well, it was at GDC 2019 when I saw the announcement there and the press show, and I just thought, I was like, wow, this is going to be awesome. And I'm a big tech guy. I love technology, so I thought, this is going to change the gaming landscape and then the way that we game in the future, and just not having to buy a dedicated device to have underneath your TV to be able to game on, your phone, your tablet, your PC, whatever you want, basically. It's just, it's amazing not being tied to one device to play all the games that you like.
Very cool, and we agree. It's good to have those options. Well, we are glad to have you on the show tonight. Also, other people we are glad to have on the show tonight who have arrived fashionably late to the party. The discoverer, the founder, the czar, the emperor of all things Stadia Source is Mr. Dan Wheeler.
So I'm more fashionably later than Anthony this evening. So I thought,
is it fashionably late or is it just late?
Well, I was running late anyway, and then I got back and I turned my computer on, and it was like just wanted to go slow. So right, whatever.
And of course, experiencing a little bit of latency himself, it's the all-purpose champ, Mr. Anthony.
Let me make myself fashionably late. All right, now I'm fashionably late.
Oh, we got the hat on the
Listen,
head.
man,
There we go.
you see where I live at? People putting their cows on the road while I'm trying to drive through traffic. What is some nonsense?
Pretty sure there's a horses behind you.
Yeah, but there was cows on the
They're
road.
very thin, long cows.
Thin cows.
Thin cows. Streamlined cows. Very-
Race cow.
Oh, yeah.
We got old Bessie's coming first in the Kentucky Derby this week.
You see the stuff I got to deal with? Oh, man.
Maybe the happiness
Cowboy
that
shaming.
brings to your life.
Well, we are glad to have the full panel here for us tonight to discuss the week's Stadia news. And we got a lot of this. This was an interesting week for Stadia news because there was no huge announcements. There were just a lot of here's the thing, and here's the thing, here's the thing, and here's the thing, and here's the thing. But before we get into talking about those, it wouldn't be your standard gaming podcast if we didn't kick off with what have we been playing. So I never remember the order in which we start, so we're going to go random. I've just pointed at Dan. Dan.
I mean, you can point at anyone else, could you? I have two options. Yeah.
No, I pointed at my screen.
Oh, I see.
Not that way, that way. We're
Right.
off the rails, 10 minutes in. Dan, what's been on your playlist this week, Stadia or otherwise?
So I know I always say that I played Destiny 2, but I played Destiny 2 with a little bit of a difference this week because I don't know if you'll notice that. What? The Chrome browser, not the Chrome browser, the Edge browser came out on the Xbox, the new one, the Chromium version of it. Which technically allows you to play Stadia on Xbox now natively. It was a little bit fiddly for some reason it wouldn't let me type the URL in the address, so I had to kind of get to it a different way. And for some reason,
StadiaSource.com, your number one source for Stadia.
Yeah, I might have to write some sort of how-to, but I was able to get the actual Xbox controller to work because some people saying that you still had to pair the Stadia controller. But if you kind of come out of the browser and then go back into it, it said something like switch to game mode. So I pressed that and all of a sudden my Xbox controller worked. The only problem is obviously I couldn't bring up the guide button because there was no dedicated button for it. And I couldn't quit out of the game either because I had to completely close the app to close the game because there was no button to quit out of the game. But I was able to play. I mean, there was some scanline, I don't know if there's the right term for it. I'm probably talking all the way back to Sega Mega Drive here. But yeah. It glitched occasionally. Sometimes the bottom half of the screen wouldn't keep up with the top half, but it was by no means you couldn't not play if you just ignored it. But yeah, I played Destiny 2 for quite a while, using that just to see if it held up, and it did. I'm guessing if you were playing something that wasn't as reactive as Destiny, then you probably could play it as a viable method of playing Stadia without having to get a Chromecast.
Very cool. Did you have your TV set to channel 3 or channel 4? If you're experiencing the Sega Mega Drive, the nothing RF modulator. Dan, you're old enough to know what I'm talking about. Don't you play that with me? Random choice, Anthony. What have you been playing this week, Stadia or otherwise?
Man, listen. March 18th is the DLC for Marvel Avengers. So I've been playing Marvel Avengers again like crazy. I'm just getting myself ready for it. I've been leveling up one of my favorite characters, Black Widow, and I played a little bit of It Came From Outer Space and Ate My Brains. I bought that, and that was pretty cool. I was playing that with my wife because it's couch co-op. I still jump on Scott Pilgrim from time to time, man. I love beat 'em ups. Because of Stadia Source, your number one source for Stadia news and reviews, I've been playing Hellpoint. So that was pretty good. So that was cool. You know me, I'm popped in and out all around. I was playing a little bit of Immortal Phoenix Rising. I still need Scarlet or Blue Bob to help me because I'm still stuck after like a month. I've been asking these guys to help me, but I'm still stuck. I'm about to just watch a guide on it. But yeah. That's what I've been playing.
We don't help people here. Like, what are you talking about? John, random selection. John, what's been on your playlist, Stadia or otherwise?
Boy, Pixel Junk Raiders. I've been playing that a lot. It's so addicting. It could be difficult and frustrating at times, but it's just so addicting. No matter how many times I die, I just want to go right back in there and get at it. Saints Row the Third remastered. I mean, it's over the top action, and it looks and runs great on Stadia. So that's a great addition to the library of Stadia. And I've also Watch Dogs Online. I've been playing that since it launched there the other day, and just had a blast. I'm actually enjoying that more than I did the campaign. You know, I spent a lot the other night, a couple of hours online, Stadia Vet, and a couple other guys, and we just had a blast. The Spider-Bot PvP mode, there's so much potential for that. It was really shocked of how much fun we were having with that. So, you know, keep him busy and just having fun.
Very cool. Random selection, Dom. What have you been playing? What's been on your playlist, Stadia or otherwise?
This has been my week on, so I haven't really gamed too much because I've been working quite a lot. But on Stadia, I've only really played F1. Doing some play-alongs and stuff and playing with friends.
Oh yeah, because I jumped in with you on one of them, didn't I?
Yes.
Didn't do too bad.
No, you were better than I thought.
You didn't expect much. So.
No shade there at all.
But otherwise, I've been playing Hunt Showdown still. Actually, on my PC, not on GeForce Now, because I think it's better local than. I got really annoyed with GeForce Now, but anyway, let's not talk about that. But yeah, Hunt Showdown and F1. That's it, really. But I'm looking forward to FIFA on Wednesday. Yes.
Yeah, FIFA's going to be awesome.
FIFA. You mean FIFA? Non-American
FIFA Fofum.
FIFA.
I mean,
It's FIFA.
Yeah.
FIFA. Random selection, Scarlett. What have you been playing this week, Stadia or otherwise?
I've been playing this amazing puzzle game called The Eye of Stormlight Wooden Displays, where it's the same puzzle 300 times over. More Pokemon Cafe, just because it's like the only thing I can do right now. Actually, though, I've been doing a lot of like any downtime that I do give myself, I've been doing a lot of like money surveys on eRewards because I'm trying to get up to something around $230 so I can get that Xbox memory card thing and not have to pay for it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say recent receiver of an Xbox, Scarlett.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Very generous.
So like, Link TV. Flippin' phenomenal person. He messages me. He's like, "Hey, I just want to chat for like 30 minutes. You want to come hang out?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then he does all the lead up questions, and like in the back of my head, I'm like, I swear, if he pulls out like an Xbox, I'm gonna flip out. And he's like, so by the way, and he like leans over and picks up this Xbox, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was gifted an Xbox by the amazing man called Link.
He was on our show last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's so great. So yeah, so
Mr. Link.
Went and got another controller. Working up on saving some money to get that extra storage, because heaven knows it's going to be needed. Yeah, but anyway, Pokemon Cafe. There you go. That's the game.
There you go. Very, very cool. And random selection. Oh, it's me. As I'm the only one left. Everybody, those of you who are like listening or watching this for the first time are like, does he do that every week? That's really annoying. And he did it 5 times or 6 times. So I have continued. I finally beat main story quest on 2.0 ARR Final Fantasy 14. So done with that. Moved into Heavensward. Doing the Heavensward quests, so good. The music is amazing. If any of you are players of Final Fantasy XIV, travel to the Dravanian Forelands, sit there and listen to the music for a minute, and tell me you don't hear Star Trek Voyager, because it is there. I'm telling you, it's there. And then I played a little bit of Stadia this week. I played a very small amount. Dom, I don't want to hear it.
You did promise us. You did promise.
I mean, he's been promising for weeks, and he's been failing. So,
as the host of a Stadia podcast, I reserve my right not to play Stadia. I played a little bit more of Journey to Savage Planet, just because I think somebody talked about it last week, and I was like, yeah, it is a fun game. It is a fun game. And funny game. It is. So I played that. I still have Pac-Man again that I haven't picked up again. I have all the I haven't tried Pixel Junk Raiders. After listening to Bill and Lloyd discuss Pixel Junk Raiders on their show on Sunday, talking about just how the difficulty curve is insane on that, unless you're using state shares to solve that problem. I was like, I don't have the willpower for that right now, so I'm just not going to do that. We're house hunting, so like I don't have brain power to spare for that. At all. So, but that's okay. So yeah, I did a very small amount of Stadia this week, but it's good. So, you guys want to talk about the news of the week, of which there has been some this week. Lots of small, little bits and pieces of news in the news roundup. The first one we got just today, a couple of new games announced for Stadia, of course, because it's the Stadia. Shut up. Including Trine 4, or Trine. I have never heard it pronounced, so I don't really know. The Nightmare Prince, and then Blue Fire, both kind of platformy action RPG kind of games, one 2D, one 3D. They look super, super fun. Let's hit that trailer. I will not share audio, and I will mute this so I don't burst my eardrums on very loud trailers. The wait is over, you guys. The wait is over.
Isn't one of them co-op? This one?
Yeah, yes, this is I think it's game. Up to 4 players, 3 or 4 player co-op.
Yep.
I really like the look of this. Like, I think it looks different to other platformers, like the art style.
It's pretty fun. It's really
Anthony's a robot.
Was that okay? I was making sure that wasn't just me, because sometimes if I'm sharing, Anthony, we didn't get that at all.
Oh no, I said Trine is a pretty fun game.
Oh, yeah.
I never played this one. But I played some of the other ones in the past when it was just one player, and it was a lot. And I always said, man, this game would be pretty cool multiplayer, because I love multiplayer games. But so I could dig this.
It's got that 3D, 2D.
Yep, 2.5D is what they call it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played this back on Switch when it first came out and reviewed it, and this is fun. I love the platforming in this, and just adding the co-op for having another player just adds so much to it. It's just that much more fun. And this is a great game. I'm glad to see it come to Stadia. It's a great win for Stadia.
It looks so darky, and I love it.
Yeah.
Will it be multiplayer co-op online? That's the
question. Guess we'll find out.
Yeah, it hasn't. Trine 4, Nightmare Prince, coming to Stadia. We do not know. Woo. We do not know if that is the case. It looks super, super fun. The announcement from them said
it says
local
online
and online multiplayer.
There you go.
You do get both.
pointing
get
to the
them
screen
both.
as if you
All
can
right.
see that.
John Scarr, we got to do it up.
That's right,
There you
man.
go.
Boot up or shut up, right?
We did two
Oh, yeah.
separate. Okay, I'm sitting here
Yeah,
going, wait a
'cause
minute.
we
They announced
actually-
two things. We did two separate.
Yeah, we actually got the Blue Fire announcement before the Stadia version went out, so we obviously already had an article prep for it. So
Very fun. Trying. There's this. There. I can't remember if it was called the. So John, you're gonna know this immediately. SNES.
Yeah.
Three Vikings. The three Vikings. The angry Vikings.
Lost Vikings.
Lost Vikings.
Yep.
Was this
Angry
game
Vikings.
where there were three Vikings that each, like, one could jump, one could bash, and so it was like that, where you had to get through the level using the power of all three Vikings, and that was what triggered for me when watching that. So
There's a Blizzard thing, isn't it? Like Lost Vikings,
I think so. Yeah,
because it's in some of their games. The Lost Vikings, you can in Heroes of the Storm.
yeah. Definitely big vibes that way. Gorgeous 2.5D. It's right there in the article. You'd think I would have read the own article that's on our website. Skill trees, revamp contract, combat system, soundtrack. Yeah, it looks super, super fun. I poked around the earlier ones in this series, but I never really they were always on my, that kind of looks cool, I'd like to play it, and then I never did list. So this one looks cool. I'd like to play it. And if it comes out on the 1st of the month, I bet I will. Not really, because I don't play any of the games anymore. Looks super fun. Alongside that, we got the announcement for Blue Fire, not Blue Steel, fans of Derek Zoolander, but Blue Fire, which is another action-y RPG. Not Blaze Blue. And this one is fully 3D, by that same kind of action RPG. Little Breath of the Wild with the very Breath of the Wild. I hadn't actually watched this trailer until just now because my work day today was insane. Okay, let's just call this extremely Breath of the Wild. With a little puzzle platforming in there as well.
Yep.
this actually looks pretty sweet. I mean, I've got to the point where sometimes I will see a trailer and I will watch the first 10 seconds of it and then skip to the end just to see if there's a Stadia logo. So I need to actually watch trailers.
Wow, that totally wasn't Daruk's protection at all.
No, it's just I need to watch trailers more because some of the
what? Wait a minute.
I mean, that's Link.
That was
Isn't
like
it?
old Link with a
Literally,
beard.
hold on. Wait a minute. Let's try this again. Okay, that's fine. That guy's fine. Let's flippin' Link.
Yeah,
in
with
blue
the
shirt, and then
old Link.
Old man Link.
old Link.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
Blue
I'm
Fire
playing this game.
developers.
Yeah,
Come
that's
on.
I think I read an interview with the developers, and they said, this is heavily influenced Legend of Zelda series, and as you can see in the trailer here, it clearly is. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to try it.
Is
And
that the
will
word
have
we
an
use
interview
now?
up with him soon.
Influenced.
Yeah,
Even
it's
the font,
it's adorable
a little
looking.
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, it does look super, super fun. And this is, again, I love action RPGs. Zelda fan forever. And
When's it coming?
Soon.
Eventually.
Yeah.
These were both unnamed. Upgrades, collectibles, 3D platforming challenges. Doesn't say anything. So it seems to be single player. Far from Penumbra, there's a lost land called The Void. So
we've known
apparently
about
there's-
Blue Fire for quite a while, though. At least a month, because we'd got a PEGI or ESBR. I can't remember which one it was now. ESRB rating for it. So that one could be coming sooner than we think. The other one, obviously, we only found out about today. So,
Well, I still think it's good. People have been asking, they're like, well, how come we don't know about any games coming up? And, even though we don't have a specific date on this, it's good to see that now Google's starting to say, hey, these games are coming soon. So, they're generally not too far away. So, like Dan said, I bet you within the next month or two, we'll see that.
They're just slowly chugging out games, right?
Yeah.
Every week there's a couple of
nice,
games.
steady
Steady
stream.
flow.
That's right. Yeah.
Building up that 100
also
games.
believes. Yeah, Alex also believes that was Link. So just saying, very clearly. These are cool, and this is they've had several announcements this week. We're just getting the steady trickle. If they keep up the pace, if we end up getting 2 or 3 or 4 games released a week, or announced a week and then released at some point. That's 200 games. So that's a pretty good, to add to the 120 we already have, it's a pretty sizable library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Anthony got all the horses in the back. Of course, Rick, he's got the horses in the back. I realized earlier I completely forgot to do my usual "Hey everybody" in the chat thing. So I'll just do it now. Why not? We'll say hi to Sednar. Good to see you. Stadia Dad Games. We're going to talk about you later this evening. And X2I is going to be joining soon. Oh, he actually did. That's great. Bonjour from Ruben. Laughs from F. Matthew over on Facebook. Hey, somebody actually watches us on Facebook. We do co-stream to Facebook now. So if y'all are ever like bored and want to do that. Rain Cloud Gaming. Hi, Rain. I don't know that I'm familiar with you. Drop your link in the chat. Let people go subscribe to you. Miles from the stream or from the review team will say hi. Victor will say hi. Collins and a whole bunch of other folks. Stadia Vet Gaming. Big fan. Of course, we already said hi. And Eli Levy and all kinds of other folks that we always love in the chat. Additionally, some news. Not only did we get some games announced, there are going to be a lot more games that people are going to work on very, very soon, because of the Stadia Play Anywhere Game Jam. So this just hit the news today. I feel like I also saw this somewhere else a couple weeks ago, but I couldn't get a lot more information on it. But we did just see this news come across today, so fresh that we haven't even run our own article on it yet. So I'll share somebody else's. Oh wait, that was hiding Anthony's face. I can leave that right there. Okay. So coming up next week, sponsored by Playcrafting, the Empower Diversity Game Jam. They have nearly 40 developers from around the country working in 10 teams to create a bit of couch play fun. The theme of it is Play Anywhere, so they're focusing on local, diverse and inclusive developers creating playful local Stadia experiences, so couch play things. All Unity, all developers. It's co-sponsored by Playcraft and the Stadia Makers team. So there's no indication that we will ever see these games, but each of the developers are compensated for their work on the prototypes, and the games may be picked up through Stadia Makers. And of course, if the game is not selected, the developers retain the details. So it's all going to be streamed on YouTube, or there will be some things streamed on YouTube.
Yeah, on the Playcrafting channel.
Yep.
And then after the day after the game jam wraps up, the developers will be able to show off their creations in a second live stream. So that's kind of cool. We're actually going to get to see what these games were, and that might be a good opportunity to kind of reach out to say, hey, we would love to see these games actually on Stadia, and do some celebrating there. What do you guys think about this game jam? To me, this is the exact kind of thing Stadia needs to be sponsoring more of. Game jams get games.
This is awesome. This just shows that they're taking the initiative to go out there and find those, indie developers, and just, you always don't have to have the big AAA games. And we see, studios like even Ubisoft, they're moving away from those billion-dollar budget or multi-million-dollar budget games, and you can still enjoy a game, and it doesn't need to, take years to create or millions of dollars. And I think this is great. We're going to see a lot more games come to Stadia because of this, and you'll find some hidden gems there that you really wouldn't be expecting.
And I think it also gets Stadia out to develop a game on Stadia into people's hands, right?
Yep.
So some of these devs might then be like, oh, actually, this is kind of cool. Like, I can do this on Stadia, which I couldn't do if I was doing something locally.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, all round positive, and it'd be cool just to see what the devs come up with. I think they said it's for a week or something, and then there'll be a later video to show what the guys have all made and everything. And yeah, looks cool.
Yeah,
Guys and gals,
does.
of course. And there's a few of these To Be With You I've heard of. Onsen Master, I think I saw in one of those kind of things. Got a VR folks in there as well. The Day Jammers. So lots of... I'm looking over at this as if I'm still sharing my screen so that you guys can see anything that I'm pointing my mouse at. That's the kind of gentleman I am. So yeah, I'm excited. This looks like a super fun idea. Scarlett, I know you love these kind of fun little community events. Get everybody together, do a cool thing.
Oh yeah, no, especially if we're showing off new stuff just for kicks and giggles too. People like to come together around the small things and just have a good time. So I think this will be a lot of fun for people.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm as soon as we see what the actual results are, we'll throw it on the subsequent podcast. It runs 14th to the 20th, so it wraps up next Saturday, day after my birthday.
Wow.
And so my PayPal link is and so on the 21st, the Sunday following, is when we will see that video. So on the 28th is when we will share.
In the article, it just also says they've been working with Stadia Makers team since last year already to try and get this thing going. So Stadia are obviously still talking to people and organising things. It's still chugging along. So positive.
It just clued me into where I remembered this from. I think I saw this on Twitter. They'd been mentioning this, and they had said, like, we've got prizes for the winners from Stadia Makers and from the Fall Guys team. And I'm like, is Fall Guys coming out on Stadia? Is that a thing that's happening here? And they were like, no. They just gave us some game codes. That's all this was game codes. I'm like, that's fun and funny. We'll just leave that right there. But interesting nonetheless. Yeah, it looks cool. I'm excited. I think this is going to be kind of a fun thing. And I hope we get to see some cool games come out of it. We did get a couple of game launches this week. Saints Row the Third Remastered and Supercross 4 have launched on the platform. Any fans of either of these? John, I know you said you played a little bit of Saints Row. What were your first impressions? And did you buy the thing from that shop? That thing, you know?
Well, this is definitely not a game to play around the kids, because you never know. This is an over-the-top, definitely a mature game, but it's just fun. The game never takes itself seriously, and it's just fun, and it's a play on things, and you just have a good time. Over-the-top action that you just, blow things up, shoot things up, buy strange things, use them as weapons, Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun. Like I said, I'm glad to see this show up on Stadia, because the more games that Stadia can get, the better it is for everybody. Just a wider variety of games coming it's great. And Saints Row is awesome. And like I said earlier, it performs and looks great on Stadia, so that's a bonus as well.
In particular, we have a lot of. Oh, go Anthony. Yeah.
No, I was going to just jump in there real quick. Another cool thing is a lot of people keep saying we need Grand Theft Auto. Man, we have so many Grand Theft Auto type games that goes above and beyond Grand Theft Auto. For instance, my wife, she used to like Grand Theft Auto, but she gravitated to Saints Row. She beat Saints Row Part 2, Part 3, the Get Out of Hell DLC. Like, she's a diehard Saints Row person. And it's similar to GTA. So when you say, like, oh, they don't have GTA, but you got Saints Row, you got they just came out with the DLC for Watchdog Legions. All these games, sandbox games, where you could play multiplayer, jumping in cars, and literally doing exactly what you do in Grand Theft Auto. So Saints Row just shows, like, we get more options to those people that like a Grand Theft Auto style game, and that's, I think, a big plus. And it's a multiplayer, 2-player co-op, so online. That's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool looking game. But yeah, it's what it was. And I will say, we've had kind of a glut recently of the more family-ish titles on there. Not that I'm saying we need, we need all games. All games have value, and but we've had kind of a lot of Secret Neighbors and Cake Bashes and those kind of fluffy games. So to get one where it's like, I'm going to beat you over the face with a marital aid is a different kind of game. It's different.
I just want to
immature.
I just want to say, like, I think last week we was talking about this game as well, and I kind of realized today that the game I was talking about last week wasn't actually the game that was released, because I was talking about Saints Row 4, which is the one where you obviously get put into a virtual world and you can fly and run into cars and stuff like that. This is actually not that game. It seems I must have missed a Saints Row somewhere. I remember having
number 3.
Yeah, I remember having number 1. I didn't play it that much because I got that round about the same time as I got number 2 as well. So I obviously played 2 because it was the better of the 2. And then I just remember playing this one, so I must have missed 3 out. So my bad. But I just wanted to point that out because no one would have noticed otherwise anyway if I hadn't. So why did I?
Nope.
I
Exactly. Yeah. Scarlett is so opposed to this game that she left the show. That's okay.
She's like, I can't do it.
I know what she's
I hate
doing.
this game. It's so
I know
vile.
what she's
Stupid.
We're just gonna clip that right there. Sneaky and stupid. As well, released. Stadia Event Gaming helping us out with the full title Monster Energy Supercross 4, the official game, released on Stadia as well. Anybody a big Monster Energy Supercross 4, the official game fan?
I said this to Jem earlier. He was tweeting about how it runs. It runs quite smooth and different. I'd like to play this game.
Yeah.
But it's just quite expensive. And with FIFA and Terraria coming next week, I'm kind of like, I'll wait for a sale, I think.
Cool.
I think it'd be fun to mess around with people. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. There's I was reading up on it too, and I see like they've got a brand new career mode, a new skill tree, additions to the track editor.
He's reading that on StadiaSource.com, your number one source for Stadia.
And this line right here.
Yeah. So no, it sounds interesting. I mean, definitely it's not on the top of my list of games to play, but yeah, get around to it.
If this is anything like Supercross 3, I mean, if you can remember the first Stadia Super Saturday that we ever had, we all actually got given keys for, like, not just Stadia Source, but loads of people in the community as well got keys for Supercross 3. And I think it was Megatron X that did the first stream for this game. And it was actually really, really fun. Like, I'm not a massive Supercross fan.
Right.
Or a fan of many racing games, if I'm honest, but it was just one of those games that was just like really, really fun. Everybody kept falling off the bikes, crashing into each other. You know what I mean? Like overtaking one another. We had people like Megatron, Eddie, Chase, some people from Stadia Source, just all having a laugh. So I think it's one of those games that you probably can have fun on a stream if you've got quite a few people playing, but I don't think the game fared that well. Like
it would like F1, right? It'd make a great pro game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've got loads of people playing.
Exactly.
There you go. Make it happen. Bring it to pro, everybody. Tweet at the whoever. It's in the contract. They don't even
they'd make number 3 pro before they make number 4, but yeah, you can still have a great laugh with it.
Very cool. Additionally, kind of a cool little bit of news that Little Nightmares 2 has already hit 1 million units sold just on Stadia. No, not really, but across all platforms. Is Little Nightmares an indie game, or who's that produced by?
Namco Bandai.
Yeah.
Oh, not really indie. Well, developed by
Right.
Tarsier Studios and published by Bandai Namco. And Supermassive as well. So,
Supermassive
indie-ish.
Stadia port now.
Yes.
Yep.
Sure. Great confirmation from Mr. Scarr. So that they have already hit. I mean, it's been super well regarded. It's currently sitting at between 80 and 83, depending on platform, on Metacritic. Like super well regarded. Lots of top games lists. Anthony, I know you love this game.
Yeah,
You really
I forgot. I left that out of the games I was playing. My wife and I, we've been playing it together, doing a series of it, streaming it, us playing it, and yeah, we played that the other day. And man, listen, we played and beat part 1, and just from the first like maybe 20 minutes of part 2, we felt that it was going to be better in part 1, just because they added the little kid in there. Now, yeah, it sucks it's not two players. I thought it should be, but the interaction you do with the little kid that you're running around with, it's like genius. Like the co-op that you do in game with the with the computer control character, like him having to launch you and do things. The game is great, man. It's creepy, but it's fun. It looks like a kid's game, but nowhere is it. It got jump scares. It's a awesome game, and it deserves to reach that many. And Stadia got it on Pro day 1. Right.
The ending to the game is like a total like jaw dropper too. Like, wait, when you beat it, like,
hey, don't ruin the game.
No. I'm not gonna ruin it.
The ending to the game where the kid gets ground into hamburger meat. I mean,
I want to see your reaction when you're streaming the end there. I'm going to tune in there just to see. Because
now, here's what's funny. We were streaming it. I think we streamed it Tuesday. So some guy who never ever watches my streams. No, really, some dude was in there for the first time, and he was like, "Oh, at the end, blah blah blah." I was like, "Bro, what are you doing?" So I kind of heard something. I'm hoping, whatever. I think I'm pretty much know what's going to happen, but we'll see if that really happens.
It's still a great
Pretend
experience.
to be shocked.
Yeah.
There are studies that have proven that spoilers do not diminish your enjoyment of the events, because the fun is seeing and how you get to that thing that you know is coming.
Well,
So,
I would
I
disagree.
can see that.
So my only thing is this: I'm one of those people where I like to go into things blind, right? So like, let's say they come out with trailers.
Pull the hat
I'll
down.
watch it.
Sorry.
So no, hold on, I could pull it up. Anyway, but I will have to disagree. When again streaming, my wife and I were streaming The Last of Us Part 2, and somebody wrote in the comments, "Oh, blah blah blah." I'm like, and I was avoiding I heard that there was leaks and stuff. I avoided it like the plague. And as we're streaming, somebody says it before it happens. And so, yeah, I know that you led up to it, but with the prior knowledge of what happens, it still knocks down some of it a little bit, because it's nothing better than the moment. Now, when you know it's going to happen, you still get that. I can't believe they did that, but you already knew that was going to happen, you know? So
yeah, don't do that, people. By the way, if you're in our chat today, don't do that. That's garbage people behavior. And y'all know I don't like garbage people, right? Y'all have followed me on Twitter, so you know I don't like garbage people. Don't be a garbage person.
I'm not going to commentate your trash now.
So yeah, I mean, who was it that was asking? Victor was asking how many were sold on Stadia. Probably not that much because it came out on Pro. But according to Wikipedia, in its first week of release, it sold about 40,000 copies in Japan. So if it somehow went from 40,000 in its first week to over 1 million now, maybe a good. I mean, if they're counting Pro in that. Maybe like a good 6 figures of those came for Pro. That'd be kind of kick it, but well, love you, Scarlett. Yeah, don't be garbage people. Don't be garbage people. Chat.
No backseat gaming.
Yeah, just don't. Spoiler alert: this podcast ends with a very nice outro that Scarlett made. That she supervised the making of, to be precise.
Yeah. Specifically, as brand manager, it is my job to find individuals who are excellent in what they do that I cannot do. So therefore, I hired the people who made beautiful animations. And if you are interested, you are welcome to contact me on Twitter to figure out who they are.
Scarlett, that's another form of white labeling, right?
Yeah, I mean,
their logo's not on there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see my logo on any logos that I make, because essentially that's what you do is you're hiring somebody to make it for them specifically. Like, I don't own the rights anymore to any of the things that I have made and sold to people, but I am allowed to post them on my Behance because it is a showcasing of the work I have done.
I'm just betting, right behind the orange banner up there, she put her logo in there in a layer in Photoshop that we'll never know is there because it's a layer and it's hidden. So, but it's
1% opacity difference.
One of the dots in the background.
Thanks to Scarlett for our lovely Stadia Source hats.
Yeah. Speaking of Stadia Source hats, y'all better hop on that because there are going to be changes coming to Stadia Source merchandise in the next few weeks. So
listen, I'm going to say I made these. I'm just going to go around. I made these.
Yeah, if you say that though, I can actually your merch for fraud. So
yeah,
because you didn't make it.
Whatever you do, just don't make a Toga P hoodie.
Yeah.
Oh man, there was that whole thing.
Look,
Holy
do not buy a Togepi hoodie from anywhere but ReadyGamer1.shop. Just don't do it. It's not legit.
If it's a ReadyGamer1.shop or .store, that is me. If it is on the other website, it is not me. And I'm sorry that I'm going into this tangent, but do not steal people's work. And this ticks me off because it wasn't just me who fell victim to this. There are people who handcraft some of their things, and those things were stolen for this website. And it's like, how are they expecting to get away with not fulfilling any of these orders for half of the cost of what people are buying them for on Etsy?
That
Like,
is garbage people behavior.
don't
Telling you.
understand.
So-
Anyway,
So
sorry.
guys, when I'm selling this hat for a good price in a couple weeks, because you can't get it anymore, just
You can
hit me up in
resell
my
it,
DM.
sure, if you wanted to. But reselling is different than claiming you made it. So
Yeah, I'll just mess with you.
Yeah, that gets my garbage person stamp today. Garbage person of the week is the person who stole Scarlet stuff. Nominate your garbage person of the week for next week's show.
hashtag garbage person.
Hashtag garbage person. And Victor with the hot dog I'm aware of. We appreciate the hot dog, Victor, even though StreamYard still won't tell us what it is. And another big spoiler from Eli, Dom will make a facepalm when I announce the hot topic. It's possible.
Yes.
Possible. But we're not there yet. We're going to get there.
That's not a spoiler. It's just a given, right?
It's just a given.
Hey, if you've never watched the show before, it would totally be a spoiler for you. Speaking of garbage people, I mean wonderful developers who are producing things for Stadia, Terraria got its release date.
Nice segue.
So
Yeah.
also, Krata had an update. No, we'll talk about it. So Terraria is coming out next week. Is that correct? I don't even know. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I didn't even bother to
Thursday.
look at
Week today.
Yep.
Week of today. Yay, Terraria. I'm sure it's for the people who love that game, it's a fun game. Scarlett and I are both on this, like, you were a garbage person for throwing a tantrum on Twitter.
And that's
you
what it was.
away.
It was a tantrum.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was so unprofessional. But I mean, I understand the frustration, but to take
Right.
it public
I mean-
like that and just threaten to cancel your game is just
It
Well,
works.
and as
right?
Avery said, it
No,
literally
he
had
said
nothing to
he
do
did
with
cancel it.
Stadia.
He said he did cancel the game.
yeah. Well, uncanceled, so whatever.
I mean,
right?
yeah, it's like that he lost all of his access to his things, but at the same time, that's why there's a separation of personal and business. But also, like, Stadia had jack squat to do with this. And if it's coming out, what, March 18th, 24th, 18th? What is it?
18th.
18th. Like, if it's coming out on the 18th, then clearly it was already done.
Yeah.
And it's just
I think it's also
Yeah.
stupid.
it's important to say on the blog post where they announced that it was coming back, they were full of praise for the Stadia team in helping them as much as they could. So
Yeah.
it had nothing to do with Stadia. I know there were
But-
Right.
a bunch of people online who were like, "Oh my god, Stadia aren't doing enough." Stadia are doing plenty. There's only so much they can do. They're not like Google as a whole. So
Right.
anyway,
Eli asking actually a really good question, and I want to dive into this one. He says, "Why would anybody buy Terraria on Stadia? Do we even need that game on Stadia? It is playable anywhere else." Yes,
Yep.
but some people may not have systems. Some people may
Right.
not have the ability to have gotten that game. Some people may not have been interested in this game until it came to Stadia, which is their primary platform of choice.
Right.
If Skyrim or Minecraft came to Stadia, which it won't because Bethesda acquisition, but if it had, people still would have bought it because it's this game on another platform and they would have been happy for it. So, you
Yeah.
know, there's a reason it comes to bajillion platforms. It just because it works.
Yeah. And it sold
And
how
then
many
don't-
millions? So
Yeah.
Don't forget the fact that you can. Stadia is a portable console piece, whatever you want to call it, is a portable platform. So that alone, the fact that you could play your favorite game, like there's a couple games that I can't get on Stadia, and I really don't play them anymore, which I probably should, but I don't because I choose to play Stadia. But I would love them to come to Stadia because I can't do what I could do with Stadia with those other platforms. So that's just
And
right there. You know?
importantly, so, you know, Eli, just talking about playing. Yes, it is playable on mobile phones, but if you buy it on your phone, you can't play it on your PC. If you buy it on your PC, you can't play it on your TV. If you buy it on your
Yeah.
Xbox, you can't play it on your laptop. So
Yep.
it's that thing. That's the value proposition of Stadia. And now, if you buy it on Stadia, you can play it on your Xbox. So, you know,
yeah, any games that come to the platform, it's a win. Whether you like it or not, we saw what Paw Patrol is coming, right? Kids games are coming.
Right.
Sure, most of us aren't going to be playing them here, but there are those customers and people that want to play Paw Patrol. So, unless it's a really, really crappy game that's full of bugs and stuff, there's no reason. Any games that come to Stadia, it's a win for it, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. I
Yeah.
think you've got the moral.
Make it Paw Patrol Day One.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I'll play that. I'll play it day one. Yeah. I'll stream it too.
Listen, man.
Dom, you should do
Yep.
a
Just
stream.
boot up or shut up.
That's right, baby.
Or play games and shut up.
Yeah.
One of the 4 Scars, 4 Scars Gaming, will play that game. And show them. Yeah, I mean it's fine. More games, the better. We'll all collectively get over the garbage person that threw his tantrum and won.
Some people have got a little bit of a moral dilemma as to whether they should buy the game given his outburst, but you got to think as well that it's not just that person. That, you know what I mean? There's other people that work for that team as well.
That's
so
right.
You're supporting the people that didn't have an outburst as well by purchasing that game. So
I'd be interested to see how much it is.
Yeah, that will be
so
interesting.
Sounds of Stadia talking about there's no mention of it in today's blog post. It could be something. I'm wondering if that'd be a great game to give away for free because it's only $5 on mobile. So like if they let's just smooth this entirely over, throw it on Pro, call it a day.
Right.
But we're right there with you, Billy. Some of us have lost our taste for it. I've never played it. I wasn't going to play it, so I can't really say I lost my taste for it.
It's £13 on the PlayStation Store.
Oh, apparently I'm wrong. Okay. Well, on mobile it's like $4.99. So maybe there's.
Yeah, but mobile is different though.
Yeah.
When it's 4K 60 on.
It's more expensive on Xbox. Sorry.
Okay. I spread then. We'll find out. If it's,
Anyway.
All right. Anyways, a couple other quick things to just kind of ping off here. Crata Alien Conspiracy, new trailer, new season pass covering Anthony's face. So we'll just keep that right there.
we actually got a new version of the game as well. I think we've got the premium, the deluxe. The
That
base
is
has
really
been
loud
renamed
in
to
my ear.
starter, and we also got, I think it was a champion edition as well. So there's been quite a few more releases for Crata over the past few days and weeks.
You know what's funny is I just played this week. I think Jeff, this guy Jeff was. If you guys don't know Jeff, he's an awesome streamer. He was playing this, and I jumped in his stream, and my name's Jeff. Yeah, I just caught that. I jumped in his stream, and man, I played this a long time ago and didn't really give it a fair shake. So when that happened, I was like, this is so much fun. It was this we played like a dodgeball game. We played a red light, green light game. I ended up seeing the next day Emma J. Give shout outs to Emma J from Stadia Bass Community Network and other stuff she do. But she Crata had contacted her and gave her $500 for one of her games. And I was like, I'm gonna play her game. Then I played Brian from the Nerf Report game, the Floor is Lava. I was just like, man, Crata is actually pretty cool. There's a bunch of fun games, the prop wars. Like Crata's actually pretty cool.
It's come a long way since it's released, and you can it's a powerful tool if you get behind. There's coding in it, and I mean, you really have to dig down in there. But the developers, they've offered a lot of support. There's videos and stuff like that.
Like
The
money
Discord
support
channel.
too. Like Brian's won cash, like hardcore.
Yeah. So it's awesome. It's come a long way, and now that it's out for PC too, there's even more players. So yeah, I've got to get back into that.
As Anthony was saying about that, Emma, she did everything on the Chromecast. Like she didn't do any coding or anything. So
right, yeah.
Like it's there's something there for everyone, right? And it's come a lot.
What's the name of her game?
Jungle Run.
Jungle Run, yeah. It's pretty cool, man.
This game should be right on my alley with me being a programmer, but it's what with everything else going on in life and with the website and stuff like that, I haven't actually sat down and tried to program something. But
like I'd really love to do. I don't think I want to do one on my own, but I'd love to take part in like a group
Stadia
of
Source Game Jam.
Well, or anyone that wants to join. Like I think the whole cooperative building game thing wasn't explored enough. Right. And I think the game, I think it released a bit. If I'm brutally honest, I think it released a bit too early. It was a bit rough around the edges. They've put so much work into it, and it's getting better and better all the time. So yeah, hopefully with the influx of people from the Epic Game Store.
And you know what, too, Dom? I think it released early, and it had such a big hype around it. So I think people was like, I know when it first came out, I was like, oh man, this is coming to only to Stadia. You could create games and worlds, and I checked it out. I was like, So I never cared to go back to it. But
it was one of the first big exclusives, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think did it come before Orcs or at the same time? I can't remember.
I think it came before.
I think it was in the spring, and then Yeah, and it was the first thing with state share, state share-ish, state shish.
It definitely deserves another look, man.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah.
And now with the Steam launch, hopefully, or the Epic Game Store launch, hopefully there will just be that many more people playing.
It was crowded when I was playing.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool.
Crowded, like crowd play, because it has that too.
You guys facepalm early, guys.
So there's a bunch of other news. Like I didn't even get to Watch Dogs Legion online mode. PGA Tour got an update. Dragon Ball Xenoverse got an update. Immortals Phoenix Rising got an update. Lots of news. And you know what? You can check out that news at the Best Buy Canada gaming blog or StadiaSource.com, your number one source for Stadia news and reviews. So all that leaves me to say is quid pro quo, Doctor. Quid pro quo, Carice. It's time for the hot topic.
I don't know that one.
Whoa.
Anybody in the
Silence
chat?
of the Lamb. Silence of the Lamb.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
don't know it.
Anthony Hopkins is my favorite actor. And Silence of the Lamb is my favorite movie series.
One day he's going to say one that I actually get.
Yeah, same. I'm waiting for that moment, Dan.
One day, someday, I'll say a quote and you'll actually get it.
One day more.
One day.
This is the all-musical episode of Stadia Source Roundtable Podcast. So the hot topic for tonight is we're going to talk about the value of Stadia Pro. Quid pro quo. Get it? That's why I got the word pro in there.
Okay.
Yes, there's nothing aside of that.
Just let him have his wins.
It's like that was a thing that that's a mom thing right there. Like, oh yes, honey, the finger paint does look good. I'm gonna put that right here on the fridge. Exactly the voice she just used with me. I caught that. So conversations abounding this week about folks who. Not everybody was super thrilled about the January or the January pro games. People weren't thrilled about that either. But about the March pro games, and of course we won't know what the April pro games are until next week. We should know. We won't find out next week. We'll have them the week after because April Fools we're going to be doing a show that day. And so the value of Stadia Pro has been something that has kind of garnered a little bit of attention lately as folks have been thinking, okay, is it worth me staying subscribed? Well, do I like these games this month? Well, I don't like those games. I don't even play in 4K. And then other folks are saying, if you do the math, which you can if you check out things like the Stadia Pro Game Monitor, which I'll be pulling up, then there is thousands of dollars that you would have gotten for your $150 worth of
well, actually less than that because there's a few months that they gave for free to people who'd already subscribed.
Right. So it's very clearly a situation there we go, it's come up there. So depending on how long you've been subscribed, if you've been subscribed from day one, all 17 months, it's been 17 months, you guys, since Stadia released. That's more than I was expecting, or less than I don't know what I was expecting there. That if you've been subscribed that entire time, you have had a net value of $1,871 in games in exchange for your $169 and change worth of Stadia Pro games, including many that have basically joined Pro and never left. The Steam World Series joined Pro and never left. The Turing Test, you can still get the Turing Test, you guys.
It's a fantastic game.
Was it that one, or was it the other one where they were just weirdly profane? Like every third word was pointlessly.
Would I be saying it's a fantastic game if it was that way?
Oh, clearly you would. What is? Somebody help me out. What is the game that I'm thinking of that was very similar, where you had like gravity, and then they were just, for whatever reason, they were just saying the F-bomb every 3 seconds. Somebody in the chat help me out. So if you've been a subscriber forever, you've got a lot of value out of there. Even if you just subscribe today, you're still going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 games. So there's a number at the top. I could have just looked at that. So it's a tremendous. It has a tremendous monetary value underneath it. So the question I'm going to pose to the panel is, we'll go personal and then we'll go global. I'm going to ask, are you personally, number one, are you still subscribed to Pro? And no shame here if anybody said, nope, I dropped it. Well, actually, let's do this. Show of hands on the podcast, who is subscribed to Pro as of today? There we go. Perfect 6.
For those who are listening, that was everybody.
Yes, those are on the podcast. That's why I said perfect 6. I got there eventually. So do you feel like Stadia Pro has been a good value for you in terms of the amount of games that you've played in Stadia Pro? And do you feel like it's a value that somebody who signed up today would still be getting that value out of? John, as our guest, I'll kick the question off with you.
Yeah, I think it's great value. And I love the fact that it's optional. So you don't have to have the Stadia Pro subscription to play Stadia. So if you want to just go in, this month you say, oh, well, these games look good, for $10 or whatever, it's good. And you get there's what you said, 28 games right now that you get from when you play it. So you have a wide selection. There's the people who complain and say, oh, you've got to buy your games on Stadia and pay full price, which I still don't understand. Here you go. Pay the $10 for Pro. You can try some games out for a month, play to your heart's content. And, as bonus too, if it's got ups it to 4K resolution. So I think the games on Stadia Pro, now remember, they originally only promised 1 or 2 a month. And since, after the first month, we've gotten at least 2 or 3, if not more, each month. And it gives you the option of games you might not have paid full price to play. But if it's thrown into Stadia Pro, sure, I'll try that game out. And we're getting brand new titles, Little Nightmares 2. That's awesome. A Stadia Pro game, free, brand new game instead of the $40 or whatever that it was. Pay the $10. It's equivalent to back in the day when you used to rent games. You'd pay $3, $4, and however many, it went up to dollars a night to rent the game, or you rent it for the weekend, and now you could pay $10 and get unlimited play for a month. So I think it offers great value, and again, you don't have to pay to subscribe to it, so it's optional. You want to sub for this month, great. You don't want to sub for next month, that's fine. Drop in and drop out, come in whenever you want to. I think it's a good value.
Yeah, and Chris from Sounds of Stadia, hey to Sounds of Stadia, one of our good favorite podcasts in the market as well, saying he considers it not for the monetary value, but for the value in experiencing titles that he would never otherwise check out. And I hear that from so many people talking about, I would have never played the Steam World Series, or I would have never tried Spitlings had it not been for Stadia Pro just giving it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And Anthony, I know that's been kind of, you do, so every month when the pro games come out, you do a pro games showcase on your channel where you kind of play through them. And in doing so, I mean, clearly Little Nightmares and some other, you found some games that you just really love through this process.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'm going to take this moment to get mad at Jon Scarr, because he was supposed to do the community first play with me this month, and he stood me up. So, I'm just going to say that. And, but nah, our schedules got switched up, so we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But
the beef has started with Scar.
Listen, man, this guy stood me up. That's all I'm gonna say. But man, you get to play these games that you typically wouldn't play. I think that's always my beef with Scarlett, is that she don't claim games that she don't think she's gonna play. I had to throw that in there.
We accept that is valid. That is her truth. We accept.
But what I'm saying is that the cool thing about Pro, I force myself to play every game because I do the community first look, right? And then I'm always like, oh, this game is actually kind of cool. Hard feelings, but I want to play Pixel Junk more, but they don't have an invert option yet. So I can't play it because I play inverted. When is it?
They're working on it. They have there was a tweet about that, so they haven't released it yet, but they are working on it.
Right. Anthony, so look up, there's a bird.
Exactly. So, but I've been playing like that since since I don't know, since like the first PlayStation or whatever. So no, Nintendo 64, whatever. So but yeah, Pro is awesome, man. It's $9.99 a month. You don't know what games are coming, right? But then they always wow you with this game. Like again, look, so many people are playing Pixel Junk. Some people don't like it, but I think it got a pretty warm reception, and that's a Stadia only game. So I give Pro massive credit. You got stuff like the Avicii game. A lot of people have been playing that and loving it, saying that, when I'm bored, I just like to listen to music and play it. So I think Pro gives Stadia that, Stadia should have been the Netflix of games. Well, it kind of is. It's a everything, right? So when people mention, I'll just play Luna, that's cool, but guess what? My favorite game is Marvel Avengers or Doom Eternal. I can't buy that. So Stadia covers everything because of Pro. Because I could buy my favorite game, right? Unless it's not one of the couple games we won't bring that's not on Stadia. But I could, for the most part, buy a AAA game, right? Or I could pay $9.99 a month and get a massive library, especially if I was playing it since the beginning. So I'm in love with Pro.
I know. Scarlett, I know you with obviously for the games that you claimed, you found a lot of games that you really liked. You streamed a couple of them, including Tomb Raider and things on our channel. And I know for families in particular, if you combine family sharing and Stadia Pro, which I believe you can. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong that you can't share your Pro games.
Sure.
I think you can. So at that point, you can basically build a library for 6 people for $10 a month. And as a person with you've got a household to manage, spending $100, $200, $300, $400 every month on video games might not necessarily be in everybody's budget.
Yeah. One thing that's been frustrating about some of the games for various consoles is that, like, if we want to play some games together, we have to buy it separately. So one thing in specific is probably Pokemon, I think, Sword and Shield, because we did end up getting two copies of Animal Crossing so that I could play. So my wonderful husband got me the Animal Crossing version of the Switch, which he's a wonderful man. I love him so much. But like when we want to play like Pokemon together, but if we ever did want to do any raids together, like we'd have to get Shield. We'd probably get Shield so that we'd have both the games. But that's a real pain in the butt because we want to play together, but I don't want to pay another $60. And I don't know if in Family Share you can end up playing the games at the same time.
No.
Can't at the moment.
But well, no, hang on, that's because my husband had his own account. He claimed Destiny 2. But what I like though is that he can have it on his own account, and it's also, I don't know, it's nice. Family Share is just really nice because then I don't have to worry about multiple payments and multiple platforms and all that good stuff. It's just nice because yeah.
What's the money?
Yeah.
Dom, they've it hasn't been just a lot of people look when you look at the list of Stadia Pro games, it's easy to kind of focus in on the Spitlings, which are fun but small, or the stacks on stacks, mind you, more stacks
on stacks.
But when you really look through that, you've got Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider, Metro Exodus, the whole Metro series came out on Pro at some point. PUBG and Dead by Daylight both came out on Pro. Strange Brigade, Zombie Army 4, lot of pretty
Elder Scrolls
Online. A lot of pretty heavy hitters have made it on the Pro. F1
Sniper Elite. So many people love Sniper Elite.
Yep. Yeah, but there's a ton of games that I wouldn't have ever played if they hadn't been on Pro. I'd never heard of Risk of Rain, and I've put nearly 100 hours into that game on Stadia because I loved it. I'm just looking at my list now. Even things
correction, Rise of the Tomb Raider, not Shadow, but it's my fault. But Shadow had a pro discount for $10 to $10.
Oh, so epic discount! So I claimed that one too.
Talked about the pro discounts yet, which we'll talk about next.
But it's just like random games. Farming Sim, I never would have played. Super Bomberman, I never would have played. loads of stuff, and also like the bigger games with like F1 and stuff, right? Think of how many play-alongs there have been since January, like hundreds, because it's a popular game. People can just jump in. It just works, right? Like to me, play pro is it's. I couldn't really go. I don't think I'd ever cancel because I don't see the point. And unlike other subscription things, Game Pass, if a game leaves, you don't get that game anymore, right? So if you decide, I don't really like the games for Pro this month, and you leave it for 2 months, and then you resub, all your games that you had before are back. You don't lose access to those games when you resub. Awesome. Yeah, like I think the value is phenomenal, and not to mention that I play on a screen that's higher than 1080p, so that makes a big difference for me because I think the stream quality is so much better. Yeah. If
you the Pro Game Monitor, which is really cool. In fact, I'm going to drop that in the general chat, so if anybody else wants to pull that up, if you've been subscribed since day one, you've got 74 games in your Pro Games library. And I don't know where they came up with the number, but they say the time to beat the main campaigns on those, 565 hours of gameplay, and an average Metacritic score of 76.7. So these are not, like, by and large, they're really good games, and a huge variety of them. And that's not even, so you mentioned, it's not even talking about the pro discounts. I bought probably 20 or 30 more games because, like, Borderlands 3 the other day, I'd already bought Borderlands. I bought Borderlands 3 when it first came onto the platform, and it was on sale at like 40 instead of 60 or whatever, the 30% off or whatever it was. And then in January, it was like $5 for the $99 definitive edition or something crazy. It was $12. Yeah. So
it's $9.99.
I bought it 3 times.
Yeah.
The hits keep
Xbox,
coming.
Twice on Stadia.
So I mean, Dan, it's obviously, I think one of the most fun parts of the year each month is whatever that Tuesday is before the 1st, where the pro games come out, because immediately we're on the Slack going, okay, it's these games, let's go.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
and Avery, don't forget the greatest pro game to ever come out is Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle.
Stacks on stacks on stacks. We've covered this.
And obviously, don't forget, obviously, the hype that not just like we have on our channel here, that there's other channels that do predictions as to what the games are going to be. We've seen quite a few months now where there's been like 2 old games and potentially 2 new games as well. So it's always fun to kind of see which will be pro from the library that we've already got, or games that we don't already have as well. And I just want to kind of like point on Scarlett's not claiming all the pro things. I mean, I used to kind of think, don't worry, Scarlett, I'm actually going to stick up for you this time.
Okay.
So when Anthony said about like not claiming pro games, like because you might one day decide that you want to buy them, to play them, sorry. I remember that I've been probably subscribed to Xbox Live for probably about 10 years or something now. And ever since Games with Gold was a thing, I mean, I haven't probably claimed the last year's worth of games, but before that, I claimed every single game. And I have got hundreds and hundreds of games on the Xbox, which I will never, ever play. But I like knowing that I could play them if I wanted to, which is why I do claim them. But at the same time, let's be realistic, I'm probably never going to play them. So,
but like,
maybe not.
Quickly then, just to interrupt, sorry, but like one of the great things, right? You've got all these, like, say you Stadia 3 years time, still going, still got all these pro games, and you have this huge library, and then like some friend comes around and is like, "Oh, do you remember this game back in like 5 years ago? It was this," and you're like, "Oh, what is this?" You search it up when it finally has a search bar, click play, and it's there. There's no downloading.
Otherwise, you have to scroll for about a year to find the game at the correct.
Yeah. So, but like that just to me sounds amazing. Where you can just literally be like, "Oh, hey, remember that rubbish Pac-Man game? And then you told me a Pac-Man,
So,
and then like boom.
yeah, so I'm kind of on both sides of the fence here. I can understand why, like, someone like Scarlett wouldn't want to you know what I mean, claim them all. But then I can understand why it makes sense to claim them all as well, just in case you ever do want to play them. But I just know when I was looking through, I booted up my Xbox, like I said earlier, the other day for the first time in ages. And I remember just looking through the big list of games that I've got and thinking 90% of these games I do not play and never intend to as well. So I guess it all comes down to personal preference, really. And I wouldn't ever, like, criticize anybody for picking either one, really.
I'll say it was fairly pointless of me to claim Monster Jam Steel Titans because I'm never going to load up that game.
But then my nephew played that on my account and he absolutely loves it. So again, there's another use case, like Don said.
I think for me, I remember on the PlayStation, it was a game called Killing Floor, Dying Floor. And I never played it. And a buddy of mine was like, "Oh, you play that game?" I was like, "No." Now I claimed it, right? And that was back when everything you claimed you had to download to have it. So I would download a game, then delete the game or uninstall it, right? And so my buddy was like, "Oh, you never played that game?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Dude, it was pro." I was like, "Oh, I get every pro game or plus game, whatever PlayStation thing is called." And he was like, "Dude, we gotta play it." And he was all excited, and I'm like, "All right, calm down." So I reinstalled the game. And I was like, man, this game is a blast. But I would have never, ever, ever played it if he didn't say it. But the cool thing was I did download it and uninstall it. Well, Stadia, you don't even have to do that. You just click and then it goes nowhere. It's just invisibly there, you know? So that's the thing I think that's really cool with Stadia, especially because the no installs and stuff, you know?
It's a bingo from Clive. You know, the big difference between the Xbox Gold or those, it's storage and just being able to say I now have this game and build a library. But even then, it's almost an embarrassment of riches because there are plenty of games that I've claimed on Pro that I'm never gonna get through because there's always the next game and there's always the next game and there's always the next game because they just keep coming more and more games. I was actually thinking like, if you think of all the different places where you could theoretically claim free games and get them, I know people are like, well, that I didn't like any of those games on Pro. Not every month's going to be for you.
Right.
Not every month is going to have games that you want. But if you did the math and really looked at it, I pulled up last year, starting in September, I made it a habit once a month to go out to Epic Game Store because there's always games to claim there. And so since September, I think I've missed a couple. But, you know, I've got Watch Dogs 2, Football Manager 2020, Pillars of Eternity, City Skylines, Jurassic World Evolution, Crying Suns, Metro again. I don't need it again. Rage 2. On Prime Gaming, if you subscribe to Amazon Prime, they do the same thing where you can go claim games. So I've got everything SNK has put out in the past few years. They put them all up there and all these historical ones. Sine Mora, Tengami, Blasphemous, Skydrift, Bomber Crew. Like, between Prime Gaming, Epic Games, and Stadia Pro, I have to own or have access to 250 games. I'm never going to play them. Like any of, like 90% of these, because there's just not enough time in the day. Like you couldn't possibly get to all those games. So build the library, have the options, right?
I also think.
Go ahead, Tom.
I was just going to say, like, from my experience when I haven't claimed many games from Epic, but it's nowhere near as easy as Stadia, where it's literally.
Yeah, you got to check out and then, like, do I want their emails? No, I don't want their emails. And it's a whole
sometimes,
thing.
so like, I remember with when I did Star Wars, you had to then log into the Origin account and stuff and like link it all and blah blah blah. But like literally on Stadia, it's the first of the month, claim, and it's in my library.
And there's even a claim all button now.
I have yet to see the claim all button, by the way. I think it's still an A/B test because I've never seen the claim all button. Stadia, get on that.
I think a lot of what we're seeing at the moment, though, is I think we're seeing pro subscriptions being used as a kind of, I don't want to say the word weapon, but to kind of make a point, because there's a lot of people at the moment that are kind of not happy with the way Stadia is going, or like. Right. And it's almost like, where can we kind of voice out? Well, I'm trying to think of the right words.
It's voting with your wallet.
Yeah, because it's going to hit Stadia in the pockets because they're going to lose out on all these subscriptions. And that to me is not the best way, because like it's almost setting someone up to fail. Then I'm not going to say that like 1 or 2 people unsubscribing is going to hurt them, but if enough people catch on and say I'm going to do the same too, and there seems to be this trend at the moment on Twitter where people, I mean we've done it today, where people announce whether they've kept pro or not, and it's like all you're doing is saying that you don't want to support them anymore.
I think it's worth mentioning as well, though, as other people have said, like the Stadia community on Twitter is probably, like, we don't know for sure, right, on how big the user base is, but it's probably quite a small proportion to the user base. Like, I have friends, my brother, for example, is a big gamer, but he doesn't ever read any gaming sites, doesn't follow anything on Twitter. He just plays games, like, and he's a Stadia subscriber.
Don't take social media. Like, you see all the people complain, like with Pokemon, they're, we're going to boycott Pokemon because of this and that. Meanwhile, it was like the best-selling Pokemon. So it's that vocal minority that always like to complain, always like to nitpick, and it's just it's so tiring. And when you think about it, so Google's charging what, $10 a month for Stadia Pro. So if you don't subscribe, I'm sure they're not making that much, if at all, any money on it. Like, they're going to be operating in the red for how many years until it becomes profitable. So if you don't subscribe to Stadia Pro, well, good. You're not using that much more bandwidth for 4K, and those games that you're claiming, they're not paying out on that. So, you know, like Dan was saying, if you have a concern unsubscribing from Pro, I really think in the long run, they don't really care about that, honestly. But
those numbers are going to fluctuate all the time.
The numbers will fluctuate. And like with Game Pass, how many people that did the dollar trick where they got 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate for exactly, right? So right now it's an investment, and it's a long-term investment. And down the road, maybe 5-10 years, they'll start turning a profit. There's even, like I said before, there's even some companies, Amazon, Netflix, they still operate at a loss, so to speak, right? You know, that money that they take, they're reinvesting it into more content and additional things. So, you know, it's just silly. Like, I love the video that Clive made about, you know, I'm leaving Pro. You know, like I still go.
I'm going now. I'm going.
Yeah.
Going.
You're like, okay, go on. Like, why do you need to announce it? Like, okay, good for you. It's not for you. You don't need to tell me. You know, are you going to tell me, I had this for breakfast, or I no longer eat Kellogg's? You know, it's just.
I guarantee they wouldn't tell you, like, I'm canceling my Spotify subscription, or like I'm canceling my guys. Breaking news: I'm canceling Netflix. Right?
There is an overabundance of sharing in our
I'm not renewing my driver's license this year. You know what I mean? It's like I'm taking a stand.
I'm sticking it to the state of Maryland by not renewing my license.
I'm not paying that. They raised it by $20 a year. I'm not paying it. I'll show them. You know, it's just hurting you in the end. So.
And quickly, just on John's point about social media, right? Most people who go on social media, they go to complain. The people who are playing the games, they're too busy to be like same with Reddit. Reddit's always had this reputation of negativity, even not just the Stadia subreddit, like, because people go on there to be like, oh, this is terrible, it's not working. Whereas the people who are using the product and enjoying it are happy using it and playing it. Like, it's just the internet, right? Like,
one of the Avery aphorisms: nobody calls customer service because they're happy.
Right.
Like, nobody's got. They're very. I search.
I love your product.
I search Stadia.
Like,
just
you know
want
what?
to let you know.
I do that now. I don't call somebody and be like, you know what? Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to make a challenge. I'm making a challenge to the chat right now. If you are subscribed to a service, or you have a local whatever, call them today. Call your cell phone provider. Call whoever that, if you're genuinely happy with them, and let them know. I just wanted to let you know I'm actually quite enjoying the service, and I bet you nobody ever tells you that.
There's going to be an influx of people who genuinely have issues now that won't get fixed on time because everybody's flooding them with
the phone
compliments.
Listen, make sure you tweet out right now that you love and enjoy the Stadia Bash Community Network. Do it now.
Do you realize that, like,
only say if you actually enjoy it?
I just want to point out that right there. See that logo right there in the corner flashing at you? That is our logo from our channel.
And
Well,
Stadia Source as well.
Afterthought.
Additionally, supplementarily, if you happen to like Stadia Source, good-ish. Fine. Before we're gonna wrap this topic up.
I was going to say it's a
big
perfect
thank you.
segue there. Yeah, if you happen to like
big thank you
Stadia
to-
Source, like this person here.
Yes, if you do, and you really do, if you want to call customer service and say a nice thing about Stadia Source, the join button down below is how you do that. Thank you to Alpha Male. The Alpha Male is challenging you to hit that join button down below. So we appreciate you becoming a YouTube member today. Obviously, we're all Stadia Pro fans here. We think it's a good deal. But if you're leaving Stadia Pro, just hush. Like, nobody cares.
You'll be back.
Nobody cares. You'll be back, and you're not going to tell anybody, hey, everyone, I was wrong, and I resubscribed to Pro today, is a thing no one will ever tweet. Ever. So just don't. But anyways, we see the value of Stadia Pro, obviously. If you want to join the hot topic, if you want to be a part of the conversation, head over to Twitter. Go to @StadiaSource. Tweet out your favorite Pro game so far. The game that you have put the most time in, that you have absolutely loved. Unfortunately, there are no callers available right now to take your call, Bryant, from the Nerf Report. But we value your. Hold on, it's like there are no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message at the tone, and we'll get right back to you. Thank you.
As long as F does our hold music, that's all I care about.
Yeah. We're totally gonna do that because the customer service music is really catchy. So we're totally gonna do that. One last thing I do want to mention before we do all those crazy, silly wrap-up-y type things. There is a cool event that is happening, and I had the tab up, and I don't know why I got rid of the tab. Stadia Dad Gaming is doing Stadia Dad Games on the internet is hosting a 24-hour live stream for a project called Gamers Against Hunger for an organization called Fair Share, which is a food bank and food supplementary organization. And if you head over to his channel, just search Stadia Dad Games on the YouTubes, or I believe it's also youtube.com/Stadia Dad Game. Stadia Games, not gaming, but games. You will see all the details in the About section for how to get involved. Check out his stream. They're doing the 24-hour stream coming up here in a couple of weeks. There we go. Did it just now share? Oh,
no,
perfect,
I clicked
because
it.
I never. It's StreamYard changed their settings. So Stadia Dad Games, and there's a link if you want to give, regardless of where you are in the world, you could give a little bit to them, give them $1, if that's all it takes. But also, find your local food bank and do a little share. I'll tell you right now, having worked for nonprofits, your money is more important than your stuff. So unless you happen to be a canned goods distributor, just give them money, because they have deals with all of the canned goods distributors to buy those green beans for 20 cents instead of 50 cents. Just give them money.
I'm pretty sure. So Fair Share is Marcus Rashford's charity. If anyone, I think only Dan knows who that is.
Oh,
Footballer.
Yeah, he's a footballer, a British footballer who basically stood up to the government and said they need to do more for children's school meals and things like that. And he's a really good guy.
Nice.
So I think that's his charity anyway.
And you'll see a lot of tweets. If you head to Twitter and search the hashtag poverty is not a game, you will see, in fact, I had it as a banner so that I could share it right here. So if you search that poverty is not a game, you'll see tweets about that. I believe other folks are going to be doing some streams involved in that, not just Stadia Dad Games. I know the Stadia Bash community has been involved. Stadia Sources promoted this as well. So we'll promote anything. If you do any form of charity stream, shoot us a tweet. We will absolutely reshare. We're happy to do that because we love it when people get out there and support others. Mr. Jon Scarr, obviously, so good to have you on the show tonight. Long time coming. We finally got you.
Glad to be here.
If people, if I don't know how anybody is not following you on Twitter, but if they are not, tell everybody where they can find what you do on the interwebs.
Okay, so Best Buy Canada blog. It's blog.bestbuy.ca. You'll find reviews there under the video game section. I've also my YouTube channel, youtube.com/4scarsgaming. And Tuesday nights, you can find me at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Stadia Bash Community Network streaming. And I just stream all the other time too. You check out my channel. I've got upcoming streams, just playing games and having fun. And on Twitter, 4scars_gaming. Always like to talk with people and friends, gaming, anything. Doesn't have to be Stadia, whatever you like, So,
and you give away games like once or twice a week at minimum.
Yeah, and I've got 2 Stadia games. I haven't posted it yet, but I'll be giving away Saints Row. It's one of them, and I have another game to give away yet that I need to finalize. But it'll be coming soon. That I'll be posting on there, and it's always people have fun. I like to give the opportunity to people to try out new games, and it's 100% legit. Totally random, so everyone's got equal choice and opportunity and chance.
And all you have to do is give him your credit card number, your blood type, and the last 4 of your social. All you got to do. Couldn't be easier.
All you gotta do.
Thank you for being on the show tonight. We absolutely appreciate you. Those of you who hung out with us in the chat, we love hanging out with you too. And if you want to hang out with us some more, you can do that by checking out the Stream Team Dream Team streaming all week long right here on the Source Feed Live, including Scarlett's Ready Gamer 1. At some point, it'll be back once we're past the woods. Out of the woods.
Yes. Out of the woods. Literally.
Out of the woods. Literally. Dom's Stadia Domination and Dom by Daylight, where he will facepalm for you live on stream. All-Purpose Champs Power Up Plus happening right after this stream. F-Tendo's Dad Time Gaming and Brews and Bruises. Blue Bob's The Break Even Point and The Hotspot with Ija Mix. So check out all of those. If you've been hanging out with us in the chat, we love it. We love to see you guys, all of our friends from across the Stadia universe hanging out with us in the chat as well. We are also big fans of all of these folks that have supported us, including the new folks tonight. Already Stadia Vet Gaming on the Crystal tier. Dan's been fast with them updates there. And all those folks in the Crystal tier, the Platinum tier, the Gold tier, the Silver tier, the Bronze tier, including Alpha Male right there. You're already on the website, dude.
Oh, I'm still subbed on that other account.
On the website. And you're somewhere in there is like document tests. We're taking that 99 cents from you, that 99 pence every month. And all those folks who bought us a coffee, as well as our past patrons, even if you have to let it slide for a month or two, we still appreciate you because you did show your love for StadiaSource.com. If you are listening, I have show notes doc. I got to follow the doc. If I don't follow the doc, here's the thing. Mr. Dan Wheeler, always a good opportunity to speak to you on your podcast.
Thank you for having me on my podcast as always.
Mr. Schmidt, always good to chat with you as well.
It's been a pleasure.
Mr. Lewis, good to have you on the show, even if it was fashionably late.
It's been a barrel of cow.
Okayness.
Hey.
Barrel of
cow. All right. And Miss Kjellstrom, of course, we always love having you as well.
Thanks. I like being here.
That's all we can ask from anybody who wants to be on this podcast. I'm clipping that. If you are
I'll say more enthusiastically.
Like, I like being here.
It's been a long day, okay?
I'm right there with you. We are house hunting right now, so I have nothing. If any of you have a house for sale in the Baltimore, Maryland area, let me know. If you are listening to the podcast, you can join us live most Thursday evenings right here on YouTube. And if you're listening to us, no, I already said that. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can download our podcast on Spotify Pocket Casts, Google Podcasts, everywhere you get podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at StadiaSource. Like us on Facebook. Have as much fun as a barrel of cow. And join our Discord at StadiaSource.com/Discord. You can even wear StadiaSource merch, which is being retired. So get out there. StadiaSource.com/merch. Limited edition. You've got to get the merch. Very product placement heavy show today.
Indeed.
Hosting for StadiaSource.com generously provided by Rock. You can find out more about the technical expertise provided by Rock at rokk.co. If you haven't already, there is a thumbs up button right down below this screen that you can click to let us know you liked what you saw. And right next to that is a subscribe button to let you know every time we post a new video. You can also become a member of Stadia Source, like our good friend Stadia Vet Gaming and Alpha Male did today, by clicking the join button down below with amazing perks at every level of your budget. I've been your host, Avery, on behalf of Stadia Source, your #1 source for Stadia news and reviews. Thank you for joining us for the Roundtable Podcast, and have a good one.
Bye.